Alright, hello there guys, this is Alan recording another comprehensive Magic the Gathering Arena Draft video. Today we will be diving into some more Throne of Eldraine. The reason why is because it's about to end in a day. Currently it is 2 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and it's going to end in 29 hours. So we have a couple of hours left before it's over, and due to the fact that I spent more time doing Theros Beyond Death, which I do prefer over Throne of Eldraine. I still don't mind putting out more content for Throne before it's over, and then we can dive onto some Dominaria on Friday, and that will be incredibly fun. But in the meantime, let's get fired off. And pack one, pick one, Throne of Eldraine. What do we have the fine pleasure of opening today? Let's see. Ooh, well, the rare is not very good. There's a decent number of knights. If you're already in a knights deck, it can be okay, but I don't think you want to start with Fervent Champion. The Archon of Absolution is an excellent white uncommon, although white is not amazing in this set. It is quite flexible, so since it can go well in any white deck, it helps you race, since the opponent, if you're facing against an opposing aggro deck, you do need to pay one colorless generic in order to attack you back. And also the protection from white is quite nice, since most of the aggressive archetypes are looking to be playing white, so it's great against other opposing white opponents. Then there's Wintermoor Commander if I want to move into a gold colored card, which is a nice payoff card for the Orzhov Knights deck. Looking at the commons, Rimwrong Knight, Charm Sleep stands out as the best commons in this pack. But here I think we'll just take an Archon of Absolution. I think it just has a lot more upside. It's single white, so it doesn't have to commit us into an archetype right away, and it's just a solid flyer, a card that I'm happy to play in any white deck. Followed up by the Archon of Absolution. There is an Animating Fairy if we want to kind of force the white-blue artifacts enchantments deck. Burning Yard Trainer can be a fine curve topper if I want to go into white-red Boros aggro. And the Thunder Snapper is a signpost uncommon for the blue-green non-humans ramp deck. At the commons, we do see an Ardent Veil Tactician, which can keep us in white as an excellent card in any white aggressive deck, as a nice way to interact with the opponent's creatures by tapping their stuff down either offensively or defensively. And then the 2/3 flyer is always a decent attacker in the air. Then there's a Charm Sleep as a good blue common that can lock down any creature, although blue is not an amazing color in this set in my opinion. I think white is the second worst color, but I'll still take an Ardent Veil Tactician here given our first pick. I don't think I want to lean towards white-blue anytime soon, or white-red. I think we just want to stick with white, and Ardent Veil Tactician is just really nice in any white aggressive deck. And now we have two excellent white flyers. Here we could pivot and move into a white-red Knights deck. All That Glitters is also pretty decent if you can put it onto a Ginger Brute, since a Ginger Brute will automatically get +2/+2 right away, given the fact that it's also an artifact. But you do need to be in the artifacts enchantment theme deck, which is mostly going to be white-blue. Again, there's another Charm Sleep passed to us. I mean, I guess this is pick 3s, but so every pack we opened had a Charm Sleep in it, but I still think the white cards were just better. There's a Brimstone Trebuchet, which could wheel if we do end up in the White-Red Knights deck. The best card in this pack is by far Surkara. I don't mind drafting a Boros Knights deck. This is a pretty excellent curve topper. Not an amazing body that can attack or block well, but it can definitely leverage a lot of card advantage in the late game by dealing 1 damage to opponent or pinging off 1 toughness creatures. So don't mind Sakara here, and you could use some. You can definitely use some nice late game card advantage in a white red Knights deck. Now here we have an interesting decision between Ardent Veil Tactician and Trapped in a Tower. Another excellent card in this pack is Hypnotic Sprite as a nice 2-for-1, since you can counter a creature, and then the 2/1 can maybe trade for something small or another opposing small flyer. Here's just the white cards. I do like Trapped in the Tower. I don't mind a copy, but in a heavy white aggressive Knights deck, I think the Ardent Veil Tactician will shine more. Not only can you prevent an attack from happening or getting across 2 opposing blockers for a single turn, but also 2/3 flyer is again quite excellent, especially in a Knights deck that's looking to be very aggressive. The Trapped in Tower is a much more permanent effect of locking down a large creature. However, I think the Ardent Veil Tactician just offers us a more upside, more synergy, and we want to focus a lot on Knight synergy if we're drafting white. So we'll take an Ardent Veil Tactician here. There is a Lucky Clover. However, Ardent Veil Tactician can already lock down 2 creatures right away with the tapped ability. Here, the best card in this pack is an Outmuscle, but usually in white the creatures aren't so large that the Outmuscle will shine. It's better in a much more in a green deck with lots of large creatures, of course, and the Adamant is definitely relevant. So if you don't get Adamant with a white creature, it's not going to it might not survive the fight, so I don't know if we need Outmuscle here. We could just take a Fairy Guide Mutter. I don't mind Lucky Clover, but you do need to set it up, and it's much more better in a more slower, grindier deck with lots of adventures like Reaper of Nights. I think we just want to take the Fairy Guide Mutter. It's a nice aggressive 1-drop. I don't think we need to double our adventure spells, since tapping 2 creatures should be enough. Here we could just take a Flutterfox, or we can take a gamble of the Shine Chaser and move into the white-blue artifacts enchantment deck. But even then, I think Flutterfox is just probably a better card in the white-blue deck, since it's a 2-drop. The Shine Chaser will mostly be a 3-mana 2/2 flyer anyways, since you do need both artifacts and enchantments on the battlefield to make it good. But usually, Flutterfox keeps us flexible. We can be white-red, we can be white-blue, we can be white-black, and Flutterfox will shine. And there's decent amounts of enchantments and artifacts in this set to enable flying with this. So I'm also a big fan of Flutterfox, and I don't see the need to stare us into another direction here. Here, I could take the Toonveil Treefolk if I want to be more mid-range and put counters onto my creatures. Alternatively, there's a Merchant of the Veil, which can prevent Flood, but usually you can pick up Thrill of Possibilities in this set. So don't mind me taking a Toonveil Treefolk. We could be a white-green Adventures deck, and then we could be a more mid-rangey version with some ramp in it, and the Toonveil Treefolk is a nice adventure creature as a top-end threat, and also putting 4-mana put 2/1/1 counters onto a target creature can be quite significant, so I don't mind just taking a Toonveil Treefolk. Magic Mirror is unplayable, so we'll try to speculate onto another color. Ooh, what's this? Occam Ranger. Okay, we could be in a nice white-green Adventures deck, or mono-white, but the Occam Ranger is the Signpost uncommon for white-green. Not only does it generate 2 1/1s to help you go wide, but it also has a nice Anthem effect once you cast the adventure creature onto the battlefield. Otherwise, I think I would be looking at the Silverflame Squire, since it's pretty excellent in white. You're looking to go very wide, you're looking to play lots of small creatures, and the pump effect is nice. But here we'll take an Occam Ranger, maybe speculate in the white-green Adventures deck. Or we could still be in white-red Boros aggro. There's a Weaselback Redcap, which I'm not too particularly fond of. It's a better late-game card where you can pump it later in the late game. Usually it's not a good creature on turn 1, since you may be forced to spend 1 generic and red to trade off, and that puts you back behind on tempo. But it's a fine night. I don't mind playing. It might not make the cuts, but we'll see. Here, there's a Thrill of Possibilities. I don't mind a copy in a white-red aggro deck. Usually in white-red, there are Boros aggro. There are a decent number, I guess, of there's a decent number of non-humans, so Bargain can be fine, but I still prefer maybe 1 copy of Thrill of Possibilities to prevent Flood if we still end up drafting an aggro deck, and Flood still happens in a 16-line deck. There is a Brimstone Trebuchet, excellent card in the white-red Knights deck. Since you're looking to generate lots of Knights, getting this to untap and constantly ping the opponent can put them on the clock. So it seems like we're mostly going to be white-red, but it can be I can be surprised and end up in, I don't know, white green. Not a big fan of Insatiable Appetite unless I'm white black. I think usually the Garen Break Carver can fit the role. I'll take an Idyllic Range. I don't know how to pronounce this. But here, a second Brimstone Trebuchet, definitely a huge sign that the red-white Knights deck is open. But also white-green could be open with the Occam Ranger being passed to us. But I still think white-red is where we want to be, given that we have double Brimstone Trebuchet. Now, in this pack, we opened up the most a broken Mythic rare, but unfortunately we can't play because we're not in the colors, but that's fine. We have to be disciplined. I think the choice here is between Scorching Dragonfire and Venerable Knight. Given the fact that we have double Ardent Veil Tactician already, I don't think we need a second one. I think the Scorching Dragonfire is just a very good removal spell that we need, and usually in aggro decks, removal is at its premium. We have two Ardent Veil Tacticians to get something out of the way, but it's nice just to have a way to permanently kill a creature, so I think the Scorching Dragonfire is the correct pick here. There's also Venerable Knight, which I would be happy with as an excellent one-drop in the Knight's archetype. But here, we'll take a Scorching Dragonfire, just a significantly higher power level card than the Venerable Knights. And I think we're going to be in white-red for the most part, given that we were past double Brimstone Trebuchet, which is a really good card in a white-red Knight's deck. So yeah, we'll take it here. Unfortunately, we won't be playing Oko, but that's fine. Here, there's an Embereth Shieldbreaker. Not a bad card. We could also take another Surkara the Bold. I could diversify here and just take the Embereth Shieldbreaker. I think Surkara is by far a better card, but we can usually find another 5-drop in the late game. The Embereth Shieldbreaker is by a pretty good card, since not only can you destroy a target artifact, but also 2/1 body can be pretty decent on turn 2, and it's also a pretty cheap Knight for us to take. And seeing both of these two cards, it does show promise that a white-red Knight's deck is open. So I'll take the Embereth Shieldbreaker here. I think it has enough utility that I'm willing to take it. I think Surkara is by far a better card, however. Rimrock Knight versus Shepherd of the Flock, I think both of those beat the Weaselback Red Cap. I don't think we're focusing on a late-game adventure value deck, so I don't know how good Lucky Clover is. Probably not going to be amazing. I guess I don't mind a Rimrock Knight here. Shepherd would also be pretty excellent, since it can save one of our creatures from removal. It can also bounce back an Ardent Veil Tactician to tap down opposing blockers. So I don't know. The Rimrock Knight does give us a pump spell, which I do like, to help trade up. And it's just a nice, excellent 2-drop. I could just take Shepherd though. Maybe Shepherd has more value in this deck. It's pretty nice if you can bounce back a Fairy Guide, Mother, and whatnot, but I guess Rimrock Knight is a Knight, which I prefer. Let's just stay on theme, take a Rimrock Knight. And now we can take a Youthful Knight, which is a really good Knight as well. Otherwise, wouldn't mind another Weaselback Redcap. The Jousting Dummy could be fine, but a 2-mana 2/1 First Striker is pretty good. The problem with white in this set is that green creatures tend to be large. So you do run into the issue of not being able to attack past them, but that's fine. We'll take a second Rimrock Knight. I think this is just better than the 5-drop Burning Guard Trainer, which, you know, the stat line isn't impressive. A 5-mana 3/3 isn't great, but I wouldn't mind running a copy. I still think we take the cheaper Knight here. Just try to play as many 2-drops as we can, and now we got rewarded with an Inspiring Veteran. Excellent Knight payoff card, and it seems like we could just be the only Boros Knights drafter, this being passed late. But I'm happy that I took the Rimrock Knights now, and the Embereth Shieldbreaker, since they're going to get a nice Anthem effect once this hits the battlefield. Easy Trap in the Tower, nice removal spell. Otherwise, I think a Silverflame Ritual would be pretty excellent in this deck. Even a Lake Lock Dragon for the Is It Draw 2 deck, but we'll take a Trap in the Tower. Could use some more removal, of course. Don't think I need a second Thrill of Possibilities. I guess I don't mind taking the rare for the Vault here. How good is Bargain? We do have a it's only good with non-humans, and we do have a decent number of non-humans. Might or might not make the cuts. Copy of Blow Your House Down also isn't bad, but with double Ardent Veil Tactician, I don't think it's necessary. So I'll take a Bargain. Could or could not make the cuts. And here there's an interesting choice between Outflank and Silverflame Ritual. I think the first Silverflame Ritual is more important than Outflank. Outflank is not a great removal spell, but sometimes it just gets the job done. But I think here the Silverflame Ritual is pretty good if you're looking to play lots of 2-drops and go wide and beat down. Definitely quite solid, and even a Shepherd of the Flock Wield. Okay, so I guess we're the only Boros drafter at the table. What do we want in the next pack? I think we need to focus on the 4-drop department and some late game, and maybe we can focus more on some removal, and I think this deck would be pretty nice. Could maybe end up opening a Fireborn Knight 2 as an excellent 4-drop in this deck. But right now I'm quite happy with where we're at. Flutter Fox is actively good with the double Brimstone Trebuchets, as well as the Shepherd of Flock that managed to wheel. Since now we can bounce our adventure creatures back and we can recast the adventures. Bargain is probably the weakest card. I do like having a Thrill of Possibilities though, even in a 16-land aggro deck. I don't think we're playing idyllic Grange. Here I don't mind a Searing Barrage. It's a bit of an expensive removal spell. It's not something you really want in a hyper-aggressive deck, but still fine. It's still solid removal that you don't mind casting at 5. Otherwise there's a Scalding Cauldron, which I think is significantly worse, since 5 damage is a big difference between 3, although it is an artifact that goes along with the Flutter Fox. Weapon Rack can also be fine, but it's also pretty slow and unexciting. I think we'll take a Searing Barrage. Best card in this pack is the Wildborn Preserver, and green is the best color in this pack overall. So someone's going to be quite happy. Here, I don't mind just another Rimrock Knight. I'll play as many of these as possible. I'll play a nice 15-land aggro deck if I need to. And it does make the Bargain kind of redundant, although the Bargain does give extra toughness. I think just having a million Rimrock Knights is just the way to go if you're drafting Boros aggro in this set. Don't mind me an Ember of Paladin. Could end up not playing it. The toughness is not very amazing. However, you could surprise an opponent and get in a huge chunk of damage if you don't have any blockers. Best card in this pack is the Lockmere Serpent and the Bacon Tupai. Unfortunately, we are the Boros drafter. We have to stay disciplined, so we're going to take an Ember of Paladin here. Could take a second one. I don't think we're playing Clockwork Servant. I don't think we're doing the Adamant plan. The Lucky Clover could be a thing, I guess. Not a big fan of double Ember of Paladin, but we could play 2 copies. The Lucky Clover does take time to set up. I don't think we need it though. We do have enough adventure creatures already. We're looking to be hyper aggro. We want to just develop the board. I guess I could just take a Ginger Brute, which is a fine 1-drop, and we do have like a bunch of Rimrock Knights that can pump it. So I don't mind taking a Ginger Brute. It could or could not make the cut. Second Silver Flame Ritual seems fine. Again, not a big fan of Blow Your House Down, since we already have an Ardent Val Tactician. But if we didn't have a lot of removal or good removal, I wouldn't mind a copy. But usually I don't mind double Silver Flame Ritual in these aggro decks. They're almost like inspiring charges, which usually you don't mind main decking 1 or 2 copies in any aggro deck in any format. Mysterious Pathlighter is quite excellent. We do have a good number of adventure creatures, and we could use an extra 3-drop, to be honest. Nice way to pump the Ardent Val Tacticians. Nice way to pump our Rimrock Knights. Our Shepherd of Flocks, I think, is actively going to be good. It's still a 3-man 2/2 flyer, so it's also an actively powerful threat. I think Sakura is the best card in this pack, hands down. Probably don't need a Silver Flame Squire, although it can be a fine pump trick. Not too high on, but we'll just take a Sakura as another excellent knight. Don't think we need a 3rd Silver Flame Ritual, so I think I'll take a Crystal Slipper, but I highly doubt we're going to end up playing it. Could end up playing a Cauldron. How much removal do we have? 1 Searing Barrage. Yeah, I think it's actively good. It's better than, I think, the Weapon Rack, given that we have double Silver Flame Ritual already. So I don't think we'll be focusing on red Adamant, so I don't think the Ember Paladin is going to be great in this deck. And I think we just need 1 more cut and we can go 15 lands, as crazy as it seems. The cut could just be the Ginger Brute, to be honest. Although it could be better than the Weaselback Redcap. The Ginger Brute does require work to get through. Or I can cut a Thrill of Possibilities and just go 15, given that I'm playing a low land count. It's not unreasonable to go 15 lands with this type of deck. And the Ginger Brute can provide us with a bit of evasion. It's pretty nice with the Silver Flame Ritual game pumped. And it's also pretty nice with the Rimrock Knight too. So I don't mind maybe going 15 lands, something like this. And this can be a nice, fine Boros aggro deck. Turn to the creature counts. We have 19 creatures. Like, yeah, it's fine. I think we just go 15 lands, to be honest. We can slightly favor white, given the fact that we have double Ardent Veil Tactician in the early game. Um, Alternatively, we could go 16, and what do we end up cutting? We could cut a Silver Flame Ritual, maybe. I don't mind a Scalding Cauldron. I don't mind a Scorching Dragonfire. I don't mind a Searing Barrage on 5, and I also don't mind a Trapped in a Tower. And then we also have double Ardent Veil Tactician to ensure that we have enough removal. The Gingerbread, of course, is going to be good with the Rimrock Knights if we can pump it. It does also give us an evasive threat, which I don't hate. Looking at the sideboard, I don't think we're mono white enough for the Okame. I also don't like the Idyllic Grange in Grange, I don't know, Idyllic Grange in a aggro deck, since counting too many tap lands is amazing. Ember Paladin's going to be at its best with Adamant. It's still a fine 4-drop play, but I think I prefer the Silver Flame Rituals instead. Blow your house down, we have enough removal. There's a Thrill of possibilities. Like, another option we could do is 16 lands and Thrill of Possibilities, but then we will have to cut another playable from the deck. If we go 15 lands, it could be fine, I think. Even with like all these 5-drops, our curve is pretty low. We don't really have any mana sinks besides the Gingerbread that's looking to chip in. I guess the Weaselback Redcap is also not a very amazing card. Although it is a 1-drop, and it plays well with the Rimrock Knights on turn 1, since we could get a nice hit with the Rimrock Knights. And then we can play the turn after. Don't need Bargain, we have triple Rimrock Knight already to kind of pump across the finish line. 15 could just be the new 16, I don't hate it. But again, I think we do need to focus on more white, given that we have double Ardent Veil Tactician. I could go 16 lands though, but what would I cut? I could cut a Silver Flame Ritual. I could cut, let's see, I think I like all my 2s, Weaselback or Gingerbread. Gingerbread can probably maybe go. Like, having to tap one colorless just to give a creature haste isn't amazing, but it does provide us a little bit of evasion, I assume. But still not an amazing card. But, I mean, I have games where I do end up playing 16 lands, and I still end up flooding. So, I think we kind of need the Scalding Cauldron as kind of like pseudo-removal as well, in a sense. We'll just try this. We'll try 15 land Boros aggro. And the Gingerbread with the Rimrock Knight is actually a thing too, so I don't hate it. And we also have double Sarkara, even though we took an Ember Shieldbreaker over it pretty early in the pack. I think this deck is pretty good. We'll try it out. And if we if we do end up with huge mana problems, we'll add an extra land. Why not? Maybe tech and a Thrill of Possibilities to prevent flood. But for now, I think a 15 land Boros aggro deck is quite solid, since we have a lot of 2s and 1-drops to cast. And the problem with white in this set is that the creatures tend to be small, so usually large green creatures can blank them out pretty easily. And white and green is the best color in this set by far, in my opinion, since they have excellent cards, commons, removal spells, excellent rares, etc. It pairs really well with the black removal spells as well. So usually your creatures just end up dying fast, so you don't really want to draw too many lands, because if you do end up in that situation, you can just miss out on a crucial draw step, and you do need to get in as much damage as possible. Opening hand, not a very amazing opening hand. We have 3 white cards. We're on a draw, however, so we can afford to mulligan. And this also isn't amazing. I can afford to maybe bottom the Silver Flame Ritual, I believe, since we do have an Anthem effect with the Inspiring Veteran already at 4. I could also bottom the Sarkara, since we have a second one. And this is kind of expensive, so I could maybe see myself bottoming Sarkara. And hopefully I can start top decking some 2-drops. Opponent also mulligans, so we're not in that much bad shape. However, if we don't hit a land drop, we should be in trouble. But now we can just start the game with a nice Inspiring Veteran and hopefully can survive. Opponent could have a Reef Soul or some way to answer this. Queen of Ice, just as a fine ground blocker. Here we can start playing the Mysterious Pathlighter and our Flyers to start getting over. We can eventually use the Anthem effect with the Silver Flame Ritual and pump all of our flying team and get in for a nice attack. So it looks like it's a blue-black control deck. So there's going to be some mill going on. No blocks here, no reason to block it. Both of these cards are very valuable. And we're not the one playing defense, we're an aggressive deck. So now the opponent will have to essentially play one generic to start attacking. So he's definitely going to be on the back foot. We can then Silver Flame Ritual next turn and pump our whole team of Flyers. Alternatively, we could just play a Brimstone Trebuchet, get a little bit more greedy, but I think I want to pump the whole flying team. I don't mind just taking it. Again, we are the more aggressive deck. The opponent is playing a much more controlling deck. Do I play the Scalding Cauldron here? What can happen here? I don't really see any removal spells that the opponent could have. I don't think playing the Brimstone Trebuchet or Scalding Cauldron will accomplish anything. So I think we're just going to risk it here and play the Silver Flame Ritual. I don't know if there's going to be... He needs double blue for a counterspell. I guess he could be holding up a Hypnotic Sprite. But this is quite nice. What if I attack with the 3/3? The only thing that'll punish me is a Lash of Thorns. So I think I just attack here. And I don't have any knights, so I might as well just alpha and get in a huge attack. This is just so tiny. Not amazing, but yeah, I still get my Anthem effect, so not the most amazing removal spell. But the Inspiring Veteran does stay tapped, but that's fine. We do have an Air Force assembling to eventually close out the game. Opponent probably keeps a removal spell on the top, but he just concedes. Okay. Not bad for a 15 land aggro deck. The deck, once the deck gets to 4 mana or 3 mana, we're in good shape. So I think I'll just keep continuing this. That last game was a bit sketchy though. It didn't seem like I would get to 5 mana. But the fact that I was able to deploy my Flyers with the Silver Flame Ritual is nice. But yeah, that was a pretty expensive curve with all those 4-drops, the Archon, the Silver Flame Ritual. So maybe, I don't know if 15 lands is worth it here, but it does make our deck much more prone, much more non-prone to flood. We're on the play. This is not amazing. Do we actually mulligan this? I think we have to. Okay, I think we can keep this, and we can just bomb a Rimrock Knights, and then we can lead with a Weaselback Redcap. That's fine. We do have more Rimrock Knights coming up in the future. I could have been greedy and bond the land, but I do need the extra double white for the Ardenvale Tactician. Don't mind just trading this. I could just tap this down, of course, but I don't mind trading. And if he blocks, I'll just play out a Rimrock Knight. That's fine. Even though I would love to use the pump spell, we'll just play a 3/1 Rimrock Knight to start attacking and beating down. Opponent's answering all of our threats, so he's definitely putting us on the back foot. Here I don't mind just... I guess if I play the Ardenvale Tactician right now, I can start attacking for 2 next turn. If I play out the Brimstone Trebuchet, I guess I can tap it and then untap it and then tap again. I don't know how relevant that is. I guess it can play around some stuff. So maybe the Brimstone Trebuchet first is also fine. Although we could attack in for 2 in the air. Lonesome Unicorn, okay, we can hold that off. Here we'll just tap the Brimstone Trebuchet, deal 1 damage to the opponent. And I don't mind just playing out the Ardent Veil Tactician, untapping the Brimstone Trebuchet, and next turn we can untap it. We can just tap it again. Running 15 lands is kind of sketchy though, so I could just go 16 with the Thrill of Possibilities. That's fine. If he attacks into this, it's gonna be quite awkward. I don't mind just attacking for 2 right now. I also can't activate the Trebuchet. I think I'll just play out my second Ardent Veil Tactician, and then once I get my 4th land, I can go wide with the Silver Flame Ritual. But opponent's also playing a nice white aggro Knights deck. The Spin Swords Master can upset some life loss, so I think I can just Scorching Dragonfire perhaps. And now we can happily safely attack him for 4 in the air. I'm fine taking 2. We're ahead in the race. Order of Midnight, okay. That's fine. Unfortunately, the Order of Midnight cannot block. So we can still keep flying over in the air. Now we can just Silver Flame Ritual and pump our whole team. And put out more threats in the air. And put them on a faster clock. And now with the Ardent Veil Tactician gaining Vigilance, it's pretty hard for them to attack into us. White-Black Knights isn't as aggressive as White-Red Knights. Pretty strange attack. I don't understand this. I can just block both of these. And yeah, I don't think he can win this. I think that attack was too trigger happy, but yeah, I mean, I guess there's a Witch's Vengeance that can answer the 3/2, but there's no way he can answer the Flyers, so yeah. Alright, we do have our mana. I don't mind it. We don't have a 1-drop, but we can lead off with an Inspiring Veteran, which is always decent. Although I don't really want the Inspiring Veteran to end up getting answered by removal spell. I think we just have to develop it, unfortunately. It is the nature of the game. And if it goes unanswered, I'll play an Ardent Veil Tactician. There's really no need for me to play the Brimstone Trebuchet, since this can hit harder. Opponent plays an Kite, okay. So I think we're going to attack him for 2. Alternatively, I could just save the Brimstone Trebuchet. But I think the Ardent Veil Tactician hits pretty hard here, especially with an Inspiring Veteran. So the Eye Collector will not be able to block or attack us or mill us. There's a Charmed Sleep, okay. He's probably going to attack and mill me here, which I don't mind. But he mills both of us, so... fortunately, there's no escape synergy in this set, so he actually ends up milling a pretty relevant card. Here we'll just play an Archon of Absolution, so he does need to pay 1 generic to start attacking. Pretty excellent card against opposing white aggro decks, obviously. And also pretty decent flyer. I like this in any white deck, to be honest. The fact that the opponent also has to pay 1 generic to constantly attack also puts them behind in the race. So we didn't get punished for the 15 lands in this game. But it's going to be pretty difficult finding our red sources for the... okay, so he's just going to keep playing Charm Sleeps and locking down our flyers. That's fine. We do have a Brimstone Trebuchet to halt the Eye Collector. Circara was a nice one that he milled. But we do have a Mysterious Pathlighter coming in a couple of turns. But I think now we'll just play a Brimstone Trebuchet and the Flutterfox, since it can start flying over and this has reach. I think the Mysterious Pathlighter is a much more valuable card, and if he was to kill one of our creatures, I'd rather have him take out either Trebuchet or the Flutterfox here. Vantress Paladin, okay. Fine blocker. We could also just Silver Flame Ritual here. I could be even more greedy and just play out the Mysterious Pathlighter first. I think I'll do that. And I should have tapped much more better, but we'll just be more greedy, play out the Mysterious Pathlighter, activate the Brimstone Trebuchet end of turn, and maybe go for an all-out attack. I actually want his 3/3 to attack. Could see a bacon to a pie here. Okay, Shepherd of Flock isn't not bad. It can free the Ardenvale Tactician. So I think I'll do that. Yeah, I think I'll free the Ardenvale Tactician here. It's just too good, I think. Although he could have a counter spell, but that's fine. We do have a Silver Flame Ritual to get in a nice attack. Okay, that's unfortunate. Guess now we can Silver Flame Squire Ritual instead. And hopefully there's no counter spell. And we'll go for an Alpha Strike. He can kill off our 2/2. But that's okay. We do get in for 6. And we will trade off one of our creatures, which is okay. Even Drown in the Lock, wow. Okay, so the opponent has all the counter spells. Alright, just need to maybe find another Anthem effect. Maybe we can attack and pump our way past this Vantress Paladin. That can be quite nice. But those are nice cards that he milled. The Scorching Dragonfire, Fairy Guide Mother, and Ginger Brute. All great cards. Now he can just draw a bunch of cards. I guess we can just ping him to death, hopefully. And he could just get back a counter spell off the top. I guess another Into Story doesn't hurt. He could just have another counter spell off the top, of course. We'll just keep pinging with the Trebuchet until he finally kills it. But he probably has a removal right now. And we'll just stay back. The double red can help for the Circara in the future. Maybe I could have played it out. He could have a Reaper of Night to make me discard. But I'll try to represent something here, I think. Could have a Lockmare Serpent in his deck, of course. But the opponent does have a really good blue-black mill deck, as I can tell. Managed to stabilize with his removal spells, counter my threats. I guess he can now bring back his Into the Story again, or his Drown in the Lock. But I mean, I can maybe hope that he ends up decking himself. But you could have like a Forever Young to get back off his creatures as well, so gotta keep that in mind. I think at this point we're just going to lose. He has set up a pretty nice nice board stall here. And he can just keep killing off all my threats. Yeah, and he milled up a bunch of good playables, like the Scorching Dragonfire would have been fine as well. Yeah, I don't think I'm winning this. Good game, opponent. Just too much card advantage, too much removal. Let's keep playing. If he didn't counter our Shepherd of the Flock, that would have been pretty nice, or the Silver Flame Ritual, but that was a huge blowout, countering the Shepherd and the Silver Flame Ritual. If we managed to resolve one of those spells, I think we could have maybe won that game. I swear I faced this guy like a million times already. Okay, so we have a turn 1 Gingerbrute, that's not bad. Flutterfox, Shieldbreaker's not bad. The Flutterfox can gain flying, although he has his own Weaselback Redcap. Do I want to trade for this? Guess I don't mind him hitting me back. And since this can give my Flutterfox flying, he could pump here, which I'm fine with because he doesn't develop the board. Now what we can do is we can play out the Flutterfox, or I can attack, use a Rimrock Knight to pump. But I think the Flutterfox makes sense here. And he can spend his whole turn pumping and everything, but that's okay. We do have more creatures incoming. And a Gingerbrute can also gain us a bit of life. Alternatively, I could just block the Weaselback and have him spend waste his whole entire turn. That's actually not a bad idea too, since most of my creatures are at 1 toughness anyways. So I don't mind the opponent using up his whole entire turn just to pump the Weaselback Redcap. So now we can pump with the Rimrock Knights. Get in for 3, and then play out this. Then play out the 1. Then play it out. Grumgully, pretty strong card. I don't mind just sending in all. I guess the Weaselback Redcap can block it now, so we are running into a weird spot. Don't mind just attacking a Vol. I actually want Grumgully to block the 1/1 Gingerbrute so I can pump it. No blocks? Okay. Something new. Guess we don't mind just Boulder Rushing here. And then we can play out the second Rimrock Knights. And then next turn we can just play out the Embereth Shieldbreaker. Or we can just go wide with the Anthem effect with the Silver Flame Ritual. But I do want to go wide with the Silver Flame Ritual once I get mana going. If he attacks with a I mean, this is a pretty aggressive attack. I don't know if I agree with this from the opponent. Yeah, certainly not something I would do. It's a little bit risky, unless he has a Redcap melee. But it's a pretty risky attack. Also, we are the ones that are about to kill him, so I can trap in a tower. I think the Silver Flame Ritual is lethal, right? Yeah, we just have to go for it, I think. Pretty risky attack, opponent. He could have a Redcap melee here. But, yeah. I wouldn't have been scared against this deck if he had large green creatures like the Rampart Smasher that I couldn't attack past, but luckily he did tap out just for the enchantment while we developed our board. So currently 3-1, let's keep playing. And 15 lands have been doing quite nicely, even with double flame silver flame ritual. I'm surprised I haven't gotten mana screwed so severely yet. given that I have 3 5-drops, the Searing Barrage, and double Surkara. But it's nice not to end up flooding in a 16-line aggro deck, which does happen, so... Pretty happy with the results so far. Alright, opening hand, we do have Fairy Guide Mother on 1. We can develop a Ember of Shield Breaker. I think this is a solid keep. Although I do want to pump a creature, I think we still just lead with a Fairy Guide Mother since the damage does add up over time. I could keep the Ember of Shield Breaker to destroy an artifact. Alternatively, I can Scorching Dragon fire his threat away, but I'll probably just have to develop it into a 2-2. I guess I'll just Scorching Dragon fire away to Worthy Knight right now. Yeah, we just have to kill it. And hopefully maybe the Ember of Shield Breaker will eventually find a target, but yeah, we can't allow that to resolve, otherwise he'll just outvalue us with the 1/1s. Inquisitive Puppet, okay. I guess if we attempt to kill this, he can just exile it in response, and this will fizzle our knight. So I guess we don't want to do that. We just want to attack for 1 and maybe just play out the Flutterfox, I think. Yeah, and hopefully he can play an artifact next turn for us to kill. If not, I'll just play out the Ember of Shield Breaker. The 2/2 body is definitely quite relevant. Mysterious Pathfighter is quite strong, okay. Inspiring Veteran is quite nice. Guess I don't mind just attacking the 2/2. The trade is good here. I'm happy with a trade. But he's just going to do the exile shenanigans here. Guess I'll play out the Inspiring Veteran. I do want to use this ability, but I don't. Maybe this is not the matchup for it. We just want to keep going wide, develop everything, and then Silver Flame Ritual to blow him out. But it seems like Pone's in a mono-white deck, so he could ambush us with Rally the Throne. We'll just take 2 here, it's not a big deal. We are the ones that are the aggressor, so we're fine taking 2. That's a pretty strange attack, definitely going to imply a pump trick, so I'm not going to block. He probably has the untap trick, I think, for the, I think that's 3 mana for the untap trick. Here I can use the Arnavale Tactician, but I think the Silver Flame Squire is just actively really good here. You could have an outflank, but we're just going to alpha here. It takes 3 mana for the pump trick. Okay, as the outflank, makes sense. That's fine. He can trade into a 3/2 and go down to 5. Guess you have a second outflank, okay. So he's running a removal package, sure, maybe he can trade for the 3/2. We can get him for 2. And hopefully this Surkara can eventually, Opponent just takes it, okay. So he's not afraid. That's fine, we'll just tap down both his blockers. Sir Alan's quite strong. But the Scalding Cauldron can maybe answer it, but we'll use it against a Mysterious Pathfighter here. He could... So this is pretty interesting. I can attack him for 2, and then play the Cauldron and use Ardenvale Tactician. I think I'll do that. I'm really not that desperate getting in for 2 this turn, so we'll just pass here. Now we can tap down Sir Alan, and I think the Flyer, since we want to get in for 2 with the Flyer next turn as well. Don't think I need a trade, we'll just take 2 here. This Cauldron can answer the 2/2. Surkara is also pretty strong. I think we're just going to attack. So he's attacked for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Hopefully there's no removal here. The opponent just takes it. I guess Sirkara can hold off the 1-1 if he decides to alpha, so I think we just play out Sirkara here. And hopefully she doesn't die. Because if she dies, it's game over, but he needs to trap in the tower in an alpha attack. Okay, I think we're fine taking this. We can just Scalding Cauldron away to 1-1 and attacking for lethal. Let's see here. So we're definitely going to have to block the 1-1, otherwise we'll die. Hopefully he doesn't have a pump trick. He did attack with the outflanks. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I do have to block here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, never mind. I do have to block here. So I guess it's not lethal, unfortunately. So we do need a pump spell to maybe get across the finish line, and hopefully no blocker that's in the way, but we don't have any luck. So I guess we're forced to play out the Ardenvale Tactician here. Play out the land. We're going to have to chump to Sir Alan, unfortunately. Maybe we can attack for 3. We're forced to make chump to Sir Alan the 2-2. We can get in for 3, and then we can hold off the 1-1. If he has a pump trick, it's game over here anyway, so I'm just going to do it main phase. Yeah, it's game over here. That's unfortunate. We were developing our board quite nicely. The double outflank definitely got us there. Okay, so yeah, it goes to show you that usually aggro decks are just paper, rock, scissors, flipping a coin essentially. And white is also not too amazing of a color, since a lot of the green creatures are large and there's a lot of removal in this set. So yeah, pretty disappointing draft, to be honest. But we are doing our best, I think, and with 15 lands we've been curving out quite nicely. But the double outflank got us pretty badly, that matchup. If he didn't have the double outflank, I think we would have put him in a pretty rough spot. Now I'll just be happy if this deck managed to get 5 wins. However, we could maybe climb back up. You never know. The comeback could be real. It does happen sometimes, and I'd have drafts where I came back from out of nowhere. We can turn 1 Gingerbrew, don't mind a Shepherd of Flock on turn 2, or we can Ardenvale Tactician and cast the Ardenvale, and then I think we'll keep here. Are we on the play? I think we are. But it's a perfectly fine keep. Even with 15 lands, we do have a relatively low curve. Because opponent's on the play, he's also playing white. Okay, we'll just leave a Gingerbrute. I can also just leave a Shepherd. I don't mind just playing a 4-1 out there. It's pretty nicely if I can just tap his stuff down. Alright, I don't mind a trade with a Gingerbrute. Let's just attack with a Gingerbrute first. The trade is quite relevant here. Alternatively, I can just bounce it back and recast it. So that can result in nice 1-for-1. And this 3-1 doesn't line up against this 1-1 too nicely as well, so we'll just rebounce it. And then we'll just recast it. And the Mysterious Pathlighter can start growing our adventure creatures. So it's a nice 1-for-1 there. Actually, not a 1-for-1, nice 2-for-1. Since I also got rid of a removal spell, and there's a creature on the battlefield. Opponent with his own Mysterious Pathlighter. Here, I guess I don't mind playing our own, and hopefully it doesn't get answered. So now what? I could attack into this, but he's probably not going to fall for the bluff. So we might as well play out the planes. Tapping 2 of these downs won't accomplish anything. I'll get in for 1, but I think it's time to start developing the mysterious Pathfighter. And then next turn we can tap both of these creatures down, or another creature, and then we can play out the Shepherd of Flock and get nice value off of it. So it seems like we're playing almost in a mirror match, since the opponent is also playing Boros Aggro. There's no reason to block here, because he obviously might have an outflank trick that can punish us quite badly. So no blocks. He probably has a second outflank, this is what I'm assuming. If he plays out another threat, I might reconsider. Okay. Searing Barrage on turn 5 is quite nice. I think here we're just going to play out the Shepherd of the Flock. And we could attack him for 2, but he could have the outflank. I think we have to bait it out though, so I think I'll attack him for 2. I think he has an outflank here. Yeah, they always have it. Why? Okay, I guess we'll have to tap both of his creatures down on his turn. And we still have a 2-3 flyer. We can Searing Barrage to 3-2 eventually. So we're in decent shape. I can Silver Flame Ritual here. Alternatively, the Searing Barrage also isn't that bad. We do take a pretty huge hit here if we let him untap, but maybe we'll just swing first and see what happens. Yeah, we'll just Searing Barrage at 3-2. I think it's annoying enough. And now with the Silver Flame Ritual, we can start attacking and staying ahead in the race. Silver Flame Ritual is quite nice here. I can also play the land and give Adamant. So now I can make the Gingerbrute unblockable. And I can get him for a nice 8. Alright, opponent managed to flood. Not bad. Okay, mirror matches. Not really fun deck to be playing, to be honest. Yeah, I think the best decks in Throne of Eldraine tend to be more controlly grindy decks. The aggro decks just seem like a coin flip. You either hit your land drops or not. You either end up flooding or not. You end up having enough removal or not. Or you could be the guy who end up having all the outflanks. So for currently 4-2, we just need one more win to win back some of our gems. And maybe we can fire off another Throne of Eldraine draft better than this one. I'm really not a big fan of this draft, to be honest. I mean, drafting aggro in general in Throne of Eldraine is not very exciting. It's not the best color combination. You can end up getting blanked. You can end up getting flooded, mana screwed. There's definitely a huge problem with aggro in this format. And I do prefer to be drafting green and black, essentially, which are, the two best colors. The problem, again, with aggro is that there's also a lot of life gain in the foods. So, yeah. If you're playing against black opponents, you're going to have lots of removal. If you're playing against green opponents, you're going to have large creatures. And they also generate food, which is also quite annoying. So aggro does get significantly worse in this set, I believe. But it's still something you have to do. It's not a choice sometimes in draft. Sometimes it's an open color, and you have to kind of get into it to get the most reward out of it. Here we do have a Weaselback red cap on 1. We are on the play. However, the double white from the Ardenvale Tactician is not amazing. Huh? Do I keep this hand? Doesn't seem amazing. We'll mulligan. And now we can keep. We can bottom the mountain. And we don't have a 1-drop to play, so that kind of sucks. However, we do have a curve at least. And we do have some land drops. Witching Well, okay. So another blue controlling deck. If we do run across a lot of removal, we could be in trouble. Even top the card, so opponent is in good shape. Blue-green, okay, quarter monitor, so most of our ground creatures won't be attacking. However, maybe we can win in the skies with the Ardenvale Tactician. I can also tap with the Ardenvale Tactician, but there's really no need for it. Shepherd of the Flock, bouncing something is not bad. I think we'll just play out the Brimstone Trebuchet and start pinging him. Eventually the Ardenvale Tactician can maybe bounce, maybe tap 2 creatures down on his turn, and we'll eventually get enough mana to cast it, of course. Pretty strange attack. I don't think I care about taking 1. This probably implies the pump trick with the Garenbreak Carver. Trapped in Tower isn't bad, but we'll just tap it down with the Ardenvale Tactician. So we'll just do that instead. I don't really want to trap into Tower this, and we're kind of bottlenecked in the white mana, so I might as well get value from the Ardenvale Tactician if I can. You could be keeping up a counter spell, of course. I really don't want to take damage, so I think we go for it, and we don't even have double white, so if he counters it, so what? You know, it does happen. It's not something you want to be doing in an aggro deck, to be honest, but still fine with this. He'll probably... I mean, he would have countered it, I think, so he probably isn't holding up a counter spell. He's probably going to Witching Well end of turn. So maybe it's safe for us to play some creature cards or something. Another Trebuchet, why not? Guess I'll just keep playing Trebuchets. And taking 3 from this Shambling Suit that'll eventually, I guess, trap into a tower. I don't mind maybe just blocking this Corridor Monitor too and using the Shepherd. Guess I'll just activate this, ping him. Don't really mind him bouncing this back. Although I could Shepherd in response to deny him the card draw, I think this is still fine. I'll block the 1/4, maybe force him to use the pump trick and then save my own Brimstone Trebuchet if something was to happen. Kind of baited off his mana this turn. Baited out his mana, I mean. Beanstalker Giant, I do need to answer that with Trapped in the Tower, so I cannot afford to use that on this Shambling Suit. Here we can just play out land. I don't mind Sirkara, just trying to generate card advantage, while we can take 4 from the Shambling Suit. I could run into an Outmuscle, which could be pretty bad here. Alternatively, I can play the Brimstone Trebuchet and the Shepherd to maybe trade. I think that could just be the safer option. And offer to trade with the 4/3. That's not bad. And then if he plays lands and Beanstalk Giant, we can just trap into a tower, maybe deploy the 2nd Brimstone Trebuchet. I could maybe risk it with the Sirkara, and if he didn't have Outmuscle or removal spell, we could maybe just took 4 and then use this for card advantage. Okay, Tunewell Treefolk, doing that. I guess we'll take 3. It's not anything we can do. So I do have some multiple targets for the Treefolk. I can attack him for 3 as well, but that's not good. I can also just Scorching Dragonfire here and play out the Trebuchet. Guess I don't mind using the Brimstone Trebuchet here. Attacking for 3. Attacking for 3 isn't bad. I do need to kind of race him, so I'm going to attack here. Maybe offer a trade. We'll play out the Ardenvale Tactician to untap. And I guess the opponent could force me to use the Marrowleaf Rider. I could, maybe on his upkeep, I shoot down the 4/3, since now I give him time to cast things. I don't know. We're in a pretty rough, peculiar situation, I think. So we're forced to block with the Brimstone Trebuchet, unfortunately. He just might force me to block with the Ardenvale Tactician instead. I could Scorching Dragonfire to 3-1. It's not unreasonable. Oh, so this is going to be a 3-3. If I Scorching Dragonfire to 3-1, I guess the block still won't be great, but I guess I can double block to Shambling Suit instead. But doesn't matter. Let's just try to shoot down this Shambling Suit, I think. And hopefully this resolves. If not, we're in trouble. So we're forced to block the Arnvel Tactician. We'll take 3 kindly from the 3-1. Alternatively, I can also block with a Brimstone Trebuchet, so I don't mind blocking the Brimstone. You could have a Pump Trick, so this is okay, I think. And we can still activate the Brimstone Trebuchet and take 3. So we're not in bad shape. We're taking 3 per turn. The Tree Folk is a pain in the ass, though, so now I need to lock it down with the Shrapnel Tower, and maybe develop the second, the Brimstone Trebuchet, and attack it for 3. So we're on a 3-turn clock with the Corridor Monitor, unfortunately. Don't mind taking 3 from the Corridor Monitor, and I can start chump blocking and ping him in the face with the Sarkaras and the Brimstone Trebuchets. So I do need to keep the 3-1 back. I'll take 3 happily from this 3-6. We can start pinging down the Sarkaras, chump blocking, Marrowleaf Rider. Okay, that's pretty interesting. Wondering why he's not playing out his bigger creatures. Okay, Adversary, fine. So now what? I guess we just say go. I could also attack with a 3, and then he goes down to 4. And then I can maybe double block, pump. I think we have to maybe trade off for the 3-1 here and start pinging him down with the Brimstone Trebuchet still. Overwhelmed Prentice, not going to do much. I think the game plan is just to ping the face, perhaps. Opponent could just alpha here and kill us. That was his final card, so how do I win this? I guess I have 5 damage coming to him. It still might not be enough. I can maybe take 5 here, and then fall down to 1, and then Sarkara and the Trebuchets can kill him next turn. I think we'll just do that. He does draw a card, that does suck, but hopefully he doesn't find any removal or anything off the top. But I think we're in good shape. So I can ping him down to 5 this turn. Next turn I'm ping him down to 3 and then 2. So now what? Okay, so I can ping him down to 5. Sarkara will ping him down to 4. I can make the Trebuchets untap. Ping him down to 2. I can't afford to take 6. He has a Garenbray Carver he's going to cast anyways this turn. Alternatively, I can block with the 3-1 with the 3-1. I can't even attack past his 1-2 because he's going to have it back on defense. So maybe we're just forced to put the 3-1 in front of 3-1 and have him draw a card. I think we just have to do this and fall to 1. Otherwise, I don't know how we're going to win. He does draw a card and 5 more resources off the top, that's for sure. And I guess Scorching Dragonfire will win me the game. I mean, not Scorching Dragonfire, the Searing Barrage. Hope he doesn't have out muscle here, that would suck. Gadwake, that's a good one. He'll draw 3, that's okay. So we do need to find something good off the top with this Sarkara. Maybe we can find another Knight, perhaps? For 1, we'll see. Ginger Brute, how much damage is that? I guess I need to Sarkara him in the face since I can't attack, so I'll Sarkara him in the face. Land would be great since the Ginger Brute also gains evasion. So this is pretty much essentially lethal. Now what we can do is we can play out the Ginger Brute, ping him in the face with the Trebuchets. We have to make sure that we get rid of this tapped Surkara. We're going to cast Surkara. Untap the Trebuchets, make the Ginger Brute unblockable, and kill him. So, pretty close match. Actually, it was 2 damage anyway, so... guess the Ginger Brute would have gotten there, but, yeah, every damage matters, so... I didn't really see myself winning that one, given that, I didn't have any 1 or 2 drops that game. And I had to mulligan pretty hard with a 15 lander in this deck, but hey, we managed to get 5 wins. I'm quite happy with this. We made back 200 gems, so yeah, not bad. The worst we could have done was 4 wins, but we're currently 5-2. Let's see if we can get up to 6 though. Alright, pretty bad hand. 1 lander, never keep. Let's mull. Okay, this is not a great hand, but we'll keep it. The question is, what do we want? The Trebuchet is pretty good to Flutter Fox. But if we don't have the Trebuchet in our hand, I guess we also have Trapped in Tower. So we want to keep all the removal. I think I need the Inspiring Veteran. I guess with the Flutter Fox and Trapped in Tower, it's not bad. Alternatively, I could bottom the Trapped in the Tower, have the 2-drop Brimstone Trebuchet, etc. But I think we need removal. Removal is at a premium, so I think we need to keep a hand like this. Leave with the Flutter Fox. Maybe the Trapped in Tower can enable flying with it. Gilded Goose, okay. We could always Scorching Dragonfire that. But I think we just lead with the creature here. I could play Inspiring Veteran since I'm bottlenecked at 2 mana. But I think we'll just leave the Flutter Fox, maybe. We're going to start attacking with it. He can start ramping out the Gilded Goose, which is quite annoying. So another red-green non-humans deck. So it's going to play lots of big creatures. The Crashing Drawbridge, pretty annoying. We could attack and then use a Rimrock Knight to pump. I don't hate that. We'll just kind of force the block, use a Rimrock Knight. Okay, no block, so that's not bad. Now we can play the Inspiring Veteran. Alternatively, we can Scorching Dragonfire to 0-2, but I don't think it's a big deal. We just want to develop the board with creatures, I think. Beanstalk Giant. So the opponent's looking to ramp, okay. We do need to save the Trapped in Tower for the Beanstalk Giant. Bargain is going to only work when he's attacking, so it's not going to do much if he's not. Scalding Cauldron isn't bad. I think we're just going to move to attacks. I'm hoping he blocks here. And hoping there's no Red Cap melee, because I'm definitely going to pump here. Red Cap melee would be so bad here. But yep, it's not bad. Healing off a wall, getting in for 2. And now we can play out the Scalding Cauldron. He can't generate any foods, but I'll definitely have to answer the Gilded Goose later, since that can start generating foods out of nowhere. And it's a good target for the Scorching Dragonfire, but not now. I do need to kind of keep the Cauldron to have a flyer that can start clocking him in the air. Surkara is really good. That's a better target to Scorching Dragonfire, perhaps. Or I can just use the Scalding Cauldron here, which is a lot more mana efficient. So I think I have to kill Surkara here. I can't allow her to give him card advantage, and we can attack him for 4. Put him down to 12. And he can just tap out for the Beanstalk Giant. We can trap it into a tower. And then we can play out the Rimrock Knight. Or we can just make a food, I guess. I mean, Scorching Dragonfire to 0-2. Maybe getting rid of a blocker is better. I think we're just going to play out the Rimrock Knight. Eventually maybe force him to chunk with the 0-2. So we're in good shape. Even if a 50 lander, we managed to deal with his threats. Could have a removal spell here or a pump trick. Guess I don't mind just casting Silverflame Ritual, although that will tap me out here. I think we just go for it. Because he probably has a removal spell here to answer one of my creatures, but we're just gonna alpha here with the with our team. He could block, make a food, of course. He might not have anything too, which I'm quite surprised with. Oh, he doesn't have anything at all. Wow. So that's nice. We get to save our Scorching Dragonfire. We took down his nice one-drop bomb that can generate foods forever. Trapped Tower was nice to keep against the Beanstalk Giant. He was forced to tap out for it, so I'm in good shape. I guess the opponent does hate the hate Ginger Brute, so he decides to tech in a Crashing Drawbridge. But there you go, there you have it. So we're currently 6-2, so I think this video is worthy of an upload. But before we head to the final boss, I do need to kind of do an overview of this deck. Let's see. So it's a Boros aggro deck. Obviously, we first picked the Archon of Absolution, which was the best card in the pack, hands down. We stuck with white with the Ardenvel Tacticians. We could have deviated into white-blue or white-green, but we still kept ourselves open. We kind of got rewarded with double Brimstone Trebuchet late in the pack, so it kind of gave us a sign that we wanted to be in Boros aggro. With 15 lands, we managed to have some pretty decent games regardless, even with 3/5 drops and 3/4 drops. We don't have any good mana sinks, so I think going to 15 lands is reasonable. We did have to mulligan a couple of games, but even mulliganing on the play, we managed to steal some victories since our decks were hyper aggressive. So I'm quite surprised we managed to even get this far. We're playing Double Flame, Silver Flame Ritual, kind of as our Inspire charges in this set. Definitely worse than Inspire Charge, or could be better, since you can keep the +1/+1 counters onto your creatures, and we're playing up to 19 creatures, so it definitely gets better with more creatures we have. In terms of interaction, we do have a Scorching Dragonfire, a Scalding Cauldron, not an amazing removal, but has decent synergy to Flutterfox, and it's kind of our desperate removal, so to speak, since we are running an aggro deck and we do need to get rid of blockers. But it is kind of like a 4-mana play, unfortunately, so it can be a little bit sketchy with a 15 land deck, I mean. We are also running a Trap in the Tower. Shepherd of Flock can bounce back our adventurous creatures or save creatures from removal. That's quite nice. The Ember of Shieldbreaker didn't see him in action, but there's a lot of artifact targets in the set, and the Ember of Shieldbreaker is nice. Rimrock Knight is a premium 2-drop, and an aggressive red-white Boros Knights deck. MVP in this entire draft, I think, has to be the Silver Flame Ritual and the Inspiring Veteran. Every single game, I think we saw the Inspiring Veteran in our opening hand, so he or she loves us pretty nice. I guess it's a he because he's holding on to a child, so he loves us really much. He loves us a lot. That's what I mean to say. And then we have a bunch of 1-drops, which we want in the deck, since using the Rimrock Knights to pump them early can be quite nice. The Ginger Brute can also steal games out of nowhere. The cards we're keeping on the sideboard, I'm not a big fan of Ember of Paladin. Without the Adamant, I don't think is amazing, but with the Adamant, it's still an okay card. I'd rather just have the Silver Flame Rituals on turn 4, pumping up my whole team to guarantee that they're going to end up doing something. We're not running Blow Your House Down with double Ardenvel Tactician. I don't think it's necessary to have a temporary block effect, unblockable effect. Throw the possibility. I would probably main deck if we cut a card, go to 16 land, and I do need to cut another playable, just to ensure that we have flood protection. But with 15 lands, I'm fine not playing the Throw the Possibility, since lands are definitely very crucial. Crystal Slipper, pretty not playable in this set, to be honest. +1/+0 is not going to do very much, and a Rimrock Knight already pumps a lot more. Same argument with Bargain. So yeah, here's our deck. We might make the final boss or not, but we are favoring white slightly, given that we have these Ardenvel Tacticians that we're looking to cast on 3, and then Surkara, more of a late game card with the double red. But overall, the deck has been doing fine, usually against other opposing aggro decks. Again, it's more like a coin flip more than anything else. Not really a fair match, just like whoever gets their land drops first, whoever gets the pump spell first, whoever gets the creature, whoever gets the removal spell, whoever gets a nice bomb. I guess that's almost every game of Magic, but aggro games are definitely just back and forth. You know, whoever is the last man standing, or manages to um, get in the nice pump spell and alpha and get the opponent's life point to 0 is usually the winner. So usually the one that's on the play or has a 1-drop will manage to win. So yeah, aggro's not really fun in this format. It's just back and forth. But I think red white is probably the best aggro archetype along with red green, given that these Rimrock Knights can just pump and smash out of nowhere, and the 3-mana 1/2 double strikers can become a real threat. So yeah, white red, red green, definitely the more better aggressive archetype than black whites or black red, I say. But anyways, let's fire off the final game, and hopefully our 15-land aggro deck can reward us with the 7 wins. But I'm still happy with 6. This video is worthy of an upload, and I haven't. I don't think I've uploaded any Boros aggro decks for Eldraine onto my channel, so gotta upload as many content as I can for Throne of Eldraine before it's over, before we move on to Dominaria again. So let's do this. Alright, well, we have a bunch of 2-drops. I don't hate it. You can always leave the Rimrock Knights. Even though you might not use the pump effect, it's not bad since you can follow up with an Inspiring Veteran. So we'll keep. But we are lucky enough to get a Weaselback red cap. Could be holding up removal, so I might not play the Inspiring Veteran too early. Might just lead with a Rimrock Knight instead. So we're just going to do that. We'll just attack in for 1 and then play a Rimrock Knight out on 2. We're going to keep up mana in case he has removal for the Shepherd of Flock to bounce. But here Rimrock Knight is quite perfect. And if he uses removal, I'm quite happy with that. He's holding a priority, so he's probably holding on to removal. We don't want the Inspiring Veteran to get answered by a removal spell, since the Anthem effect is quite important. So red-green aggro deck, okay, my Nemesis. Rosethorn Acolyte, okay. Don't mind just attacking into this and using the Rimrock Knight to pump, or just using all of our mana just to pump for the turn. It does put us behind on tempo, but let's see. If I Rimrock Knight here, does it make a difference? Not really. I think tap. I don't think we need double white for anything, so we're fine with the trade. It's pretty decent here. We are behind on tempo, of course, so if he develops something, I'm not going to be in the best situation. But we're stuck on 3. I could play out the Rimrock Knight here. Alternatively, I can play out the Inspiring Veteran, or I can just play out the Brimstone Trebuchet and start tapping it to deal damage. I think that's better since it's mana efficient. Opponent could be also running a 15 or 16 land aggro deck in the red-green archetype, although Rosethorn Acolyte rather wants you to be a little bit more mid-rangey, since a 3-mana 2/3 body is a fine blocker, but not an attacker. Here I'm just going to let damage happen. This is a pretty strange attack. It obviously implies a pump trick. We don't want him getting free rolling us here. Scalding Cauldron isn't bad. Guess I don't mind tapping it and then playing out the Rimrock Knight and then keeping up the Shepherd of the Flock in case he has removal. Alternatively, I could just keep up the Rimrock Knight to pump in case something was to happen. Pretty interesting decision. I think I'll just play out the Scalding Cauldron since it can answer the 1/2. He obviously has a pump trick, so let's say he pumps the Brimstone Trebuchet. Do we want to Rimrock Knight, or do we want to save the Brimstone Trebuchet? I guess that's a little bit too late since we already play out this Cauldron. So I think we're going to use the Shepherd of the Flock here to save our Brimstone Trebuchet when he uses his pump trick. And I'm fine blocking the Raging Redcap. I guess he's just going to draw some cards. That's fine. He has a Rampart Smasher, so we do need the Searing Barrage to answer it next turn. Mereleaf Rider, also quite annoying. Okay. I don't mind the attack here. I think I'm going to use a Rimrock Knight to pump the Brimstone Trebuchet to get rid of the 1/2, since I think that's more threatening in the long run. Alternatively, I could answer Rosethorn, but if I do run across a pump effect, I would be in worse shape. The Ardenvale Tactician can buy me a turn here. pretty interesting. Let's see. Alternatively, I can just tap the Trebuchet. I won't be able to get a good block. I can block off the 2/3, however. But I guess I'll be taking 3 from the Marrowleaf Rider unless I want to block here. The Rimrock Knight does allow me to be aggressive. Alternatively, we can use the Ardenvale Tactician to tap both of his creatures, but he's probably going to play out the Rampart Smasher, which I prefer to tap instead. So maybe I just stay back here, and I can just activate the Cauldron and hold off the 2/3. Huh. I think we'll just stay back. He could main phase the Rampart Smasher instead. I guess if he outmuscles, we can protect our Brimstone Trebuchet instead. We'll let the Rampart Smasher resolve. He's probably going to attempt to outmuscle. We're going to save the Shepherd of the Flock instead. Not much I can do here. We're going to Shepherd away the 1/3 to prevent it from dying. I could have also just tapped in response before that happens. And now, I guess I'll just Ardenvale Tactician to prevent the damage from happening, so we'll tap both of these cards down. And hopefully we can find something to answer this Rampart Smasher, which I highly doubt we are. You definitely don't want to be the one falling behind in a matchup like this. So now what? I can play out the Trebuchet, maybe offer to block. I can hold off the 2/3, maybe take 9. That doesn't seem very good. Alternatively, I can shoot down the 3/1 with the Scalding Cauldron. Or I can play out the 3/1 and then next turn we can block the 6/6 and use a Cauldron to finish it off. But I'll be taking a lot of damage here, which is also not very good. So I highly doubt we're going to win unless we find Trap in the Tower off the top. So, yeah, there's not much you can do. I mean, we were stuck on lands, Escaping the Wild just outvalued us. We're running yeah, it's just a back and forth game, so it's pretty much a good game at this point. I think we did our best, but yeah, you can't win every match. But I'm fine uploading this video since I think 50 lands was the way to go. But yeah, sometimes you just can't win it all. So, all right, yep, match is 6-2. Need some Boros aggro contents on my channel for Eldraine, so this is going to be an upload. The red-green deck was quite insane too, so I have to admit that was a pretty hard match to win. So here we're just going to claim our prize. Yep. And let's pretend we're drafting a Throne of Eldraine pack draft. Pack 1, pick 1. I guess we opened so much Throne of Eldraine, we're going to get reward with gems. So maybe we're not going to get to see our nice mythic or rare we could have opened. Spin Swordsmaster, probably the best common in this pack. Essential in the Black Knights archetypes, since the drain is quite relevant. And with multiple Smitten Swordsmasters, if you open up a Lucky Clover, this can definitely get out of hand. So don't sleep on this card. It's a pretty excellent 2-drop in the set, in my opinion. Red Cap Melee versus Lucky Clover. Again, Lucky Clover is not going to be as best in a adventures deck that's looking to be hyper aggressive like the Boros Aggro deck. However, it's very good in a more slower adventures deck that's looking to maximize the theme of the adventures. So it's going to be good in like black-green foods where you can make multiple foods. It's going to be quite nice in a green-white adventures deck, since some of the adventure creatures like the Occam Ranger can be quite nice, since it can help you generate more 1/1 tokens. I think Lucky Clover is good. It does keep our options open, but it's not going to be great in every adventure deck. I guess, yeah, in black-green it's quite good, the Reaper of Nights, since you can make the opponent discard 4, but I don't really like it with pump spells, to be honest, since usually they're quite temporary. But maybe I would take the Red Cap Melee Pack 1, pick 1 as an excellent removal spell. Red is a decent color in this set, and it's a 1 mana instant speed, deal 4 damage, can get an opponent out of nowhere. Otherwise, I think I would take the Lucky Clover over the Fairy Guide Mutter. I think I'll take the Beanstalk Giant over anything over the Burning Yard Trainer. Usually there's enough 2-drops in an aggressive Knights deck that you don't need a 5-mana 3/3. That's not a very amazing stat line. And the +2/+2 is essentially just a Bargain, I guess. So it's a 5-mana 3/3 with a Bargain attached to it. It's okay, not impressive. Usually there's Rimrock Knights that can give your creatures +2/+0, and you can just play 3-powered creatures on turn 2. So the Burning Yard Trainer definitely not super amazing, but I wouldn't mind playing this in the Boros Knights deck. But I rather prefer the 2-drop instead, since you're running a low land count and 5 mana is a lot. Best common in this pack overall, the Merfolk Secret Keeper. If you can pick these up early and pick up multiple copies, they can definitely get out of hand. The mill archetype is definitely a thing in this set, and if you pick up cards like the Lucky Clover, the Merfolk Secret Keeper do get better. However, blue doesn't have any amazing adventures outside of the Merfolk Secret Keeper, so even if you pick up a Lucky Clover, it's not a high priority that you want to be drafting blue, but Merfolk Secret Keeper do get really amazing if there's a Lucky Clover in your deck, but I think I'll take a Beanstalk Giant as a way to potentially help you ramp in. It's just a pretty scary body in the late game, so it's a powerful 2-for-1 already. And green is the best color in this set by far, I think, followed by black, and then maybe red, then white, and then blue. Here, nothing amazing, like maybe the Clockwork Servant can be fine in the late game. Even with a deck without too much adamant, the Clockwork Servant again can be fine in the late game, since it still draws you a card, but not a very exciting body. Find okay ground blocker that can maybe replace itself. I'll just take the mythic or rare, whatever, that we opened. Shepherd of the Flock, nice 2-drop, nice way to save a creature from a removal spell. Also, nice way to reset adventure creatures. Garenbrig Paladin, also a pretty nice green common in the set, an overperformer. Even without the adamant, it's still a 5-mana 4/4 that can't be blocked easily, so it can beat down pretty hard. One of my favorite green commons in the set. Green is a very good color, so don't sleep on it. And Core Set 2021. I'll take a Sublime Epiphany, easily the best blue card in the entire set. Just a powerful bomb. The card is pretty ridiculous. I haven't been too impressed by Warden of the Woods and even the Land of War Visionary, since Core Set 2021 is a very hyper aggressive format, and you don't have time to get to turn 6 to play out your giant tanky creatures. However, if you are in a mid-rangey green deck, the Warden of the Woods can be a nice curve topper. Maybe you end up drafting blue green, green black, or red green. Yeah, this can be pretty nice. But overall, I wouldn't prioritize it too highly, since white is the best color in the set, and white tends to be low to the ground, so the Warden of the Woods is not going to be amazing in that color combination. However, Sublime Epiphany is an easy pick. So there you have it. There's our Eldraine draft. I'll probably fire more since it's about to end, and I do want to, again, squeeze a lot more content and archetypes onto my channel for Throne of Eldraine. But in the meantime, have a wonderful day, folks, and stay tuned for more content. Have a great day.